of that message. For example, the Dasa Raja Dhamma, or 10-fold righteous rules of good governance, incorporated in their embrace more than 2,000 years ago all the seemingly modern concepts of democracy, justice, human rights, and rule of law, those very values that we continue to debate even today here in the United Nations in so many ongoing discussions as the pillars of a free and vibrant democratic society. The uniqueness of Lord Buddha's teachings, therefore, stems from their continued relevance over the ages and their unbridled universality. Lord Buddha emphasized that differences among men and women are not made by birth or by the labels that are given through chance or choice, be it race, religion, caste, creed, or any other, but by deed, by what they do. As the globalized world comes together in the contemporary era, driven by technology, economic integration, and people-to-people contacts, we are also witnessing a simultaneous fragmentation of groups attempting to differentiate themselves from the rest of humanity on ill-founded distinctions. Instead of diversity being celebrated, it is ironically becoming a source of conflict. We therefore need to seek refuge again in the gospel of Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. For even in today's world, Buddha's teachings stand out as an ideal intellectual and philosophical amalgam for conducting a dialogue among civilizations, which is a much needed prerequisite for peace in our times. It is in this context that we look to the continued revitalization of the principles and purposes of the United Nations from every source that is tried, tested, and true. I therefore join all present here today in praying for the success of our collective efforts in bringing the blessings of Lord Buddha to us here at the United Nations, blessings that will encompass peace, prosperity, and happiness of all mankind. I thank you once again.
which gave to the world one of the greatest sages, Gautam Buddha. India spreads out from the rugged Himalayas in the north to the sandy dunes dominating its western boundaries. It seems that I have stepped into another world, into another time. Embedded deep in the heart of its soil is the history of one of the greatest cultures of the world, resonating with the message of love, of peace, of brotherhood, the message of Gautam Buddha. These sites were the centers of Buddhist learning and culture. Monks and disciples lived here in the monasteries, worshipping the relics of the Buddha contained in the stupas. Each stone that is unearthed tells of how far and wide the doctrine of Buddhism had spread during the times of the Tathagata and later. So I must begin from the very beginning, from Lumbini in Nepal, the birthplace of Prince Siddhartha Gautam, son of Shuddhodhan, the Shaka king and ancient Kapilavastu. Today there exists a pillar of Ashoka proclaiming in Brahmi script that the Buddha was born here. On a full moon day in the month of Vesak, May, taking a bath in the Niranjan river, Siddhartha Gautam sat under the Bodhi tree. Here, under this auspicious Bodhi tree, Shakyamuni Gautam attained Nirvana, divine salvation. The holiest of holy places associated with Buddhism, Bodh Gaya, is situated in the Gaya district of Bihar. Ashoka refers to this place as Sambodhi. Temples and monasteries of nearly all countries where Buddhism has flourished have come up near and around the Mahabodhi temple, forming an integral part of Bodh Gaya. The Thai temple and monastery is startling in the sunlight. gold-lacquered tiles, sloping terraces, roofs, curved dragon forms, making graceful silhouettes against the sky. The Japanese have built a colossal Buddha, which is by far the most imposing and awe-inspiring image at Bodh Gaya. The Buddha in all his glory, giving a message of peace, love, piety, a message from the land of his birth to the world. I leave for Banaras, the oldest city of India. Nearly 8 kilometers from this ancient seat of Indian culture is Sarnath. In medieval inscriptions, the place is referred to as the Dharma Chakra Parivartan Vihar. It was here that Tathagat expounded the 4 noble truths. In view of the sanctity and importance of Sarnath, it continued to be a leading center of Buddhism throughout the centuries. The once ancient capital of the powerful Magadha Empire, Rajgir was known as Rajgriha, meaning the home of royalty. It was also called Vasumati, Giriviraj, and Kushagrapur. Lord Buddha spent several rainy seasons, Varshavas, in this area, spending time on Ketkut Hill and preaching to his disciples. Vaishali was once the capital city of the Lichavis, one of the earliest republics of the world. Lord Buddha visited this place 3 times in his life and chose to declare his approaching Nirvana and delivered his last sermon at Vaishali. The greatest patron of Buddhism, King Ashoka, built a stupa and erected a pillar at Sanchi. All kinds of Buddhist architectural forms can be seen here. Although the monument at Sanchi now forms one of the most magnificent and perfect examples of early Buddhist art in India, the site seems to have no apparent connection with the traditional history of Gautam Buddha. Sanchi remained a great center of Buddhism for more than 1,000 years. This is evidenced by the numerous monuments belonging to all eras from the 3rd century BC to the 12th century AD. As I leave Sanchi, my heart swells with an emotion which fills my soul with elation. The journey has been a revealing experience. I feel that I have set out on another journey, a journey from within.
That was the Buddha for that video. And may I now invite His Excellency Dr. Kien Ansuriwong, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Lao People's Democratic Republic, to deliver his statement.
Excellency Narajit Sinhaseni, Venerable Monks, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on the auspicious occasion of the United Nations Day of Vesak, on behalf of the government of the Lao PDL, I wish to convey my heartfelt greetings to all the Buddhist followers worldwide. I also wish to express my sincere thanks and deep appreciation to His Excellency Ambassador Narajit Sinhaseni, Permanent Representative of Thailand to the United Nations, and his team for the tireless effort that they have devoted to organize this important religious event. As we are well aware that the day of Vesak is the commemoration of the 3 significant events in the life of Lord Buddha: the birth, the enlightenment, and the passing away. The enlightenment Lord Buddha showed the everlasting truth to the world. For Buddhists, therefore, the Vesak is the most important Buddhist festival and is considered the most sacred of all the days in a year. Vesak offers an opportunity for us to reflect on the life and teaching of Lord Buddha. The fact that the Vesak day was recognized as the United Nations Day at the United Nations General Assembly in 1999 is a great joy and honor for millions of Buddhists around the world, including the Lao people, as it shows us to feel confident in the value of Buddhism education and its promotion for the future. The annual observance of international recognition of the Vesak Day at the United Nations is relevant and important, as it recognizes the diversity in religions and cultures of all mankind. This is also a true reflection of the international community to promote peace and prosperity through mutual understanding, respect, and tolerance. Today, the world is being faced with various challenges. The most fundamental ones are stemming from lack of compassion, tolerance, and mutual understanding. Hence, it is the responsibility of every one of us to jointly tackle and overcome such challenges by following the timeless teachings and practice of Lord Buddha in order to promote mutual understanding, tolerance, and compassion among mankind, so that the world could be rid of conflicts, tensions, and mankind could live happily in peace. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Buddhism introduced to the country, Laos, almost 1,000 years ago, was the main religion that is being followed and practiced by the most of the Lao people. For that reason, Buddhism is extremely important in the life of the Lao people, as it plays one role in promoting understanding, harmony, mutual assistance of its people, thereby contributing to the economic and social development of the country, that has led to the gradual improvement in the living standards of the Lao people. Excellencies, in conclusion, it is my firm belief that the day of Vesak will inspire all of us to follow the path of Buddha in promoting peace, compassion, tolerance, to end the intolerance, violence, misunderstanding, and human suffering, so that the world will be more peaceful and a better place for the entire human race to live. May the blessings of the Noble Triple G be upon us all. I thank you.
I thank His Excellency the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Laos for his statement and for his kind words addressed to me and my team. Thank you. I now have the pleasure and honor to invite His Excellency Mr. Hussein Hanif, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Malaysia, to deliver his statement. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Chairman, Venerable Monks, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you, Chairman of the Vesak Day Celebration Organizing Committee and the committee members for hosting this year's Vesak celebration at the United Nations. Malaysia has been part of the organizing committee for the last 3 celebrations, and we truly believe that this annual celebration is significant and meaningful to the ongoing efforts of the United Nations in promoting understanding among peoples of different cultures, religion, and civilization. Mr. Chairman, there are many similar spiritual values that are cherished by Buddhism and other religions, such as love, caring, compassion, and so forth, that builds our moral framework and character from all the levels of citizens, community, and nation. Vesak Day is a celebration of joy, peace, and forgiveness, as people are seeking blessings for themselves and their loved ones, and is celebrated by more than 500 million Buddhists around the world. Malaysia comprises of people from different faiths and culture. We have learned to live together in peace and harmony for more than 5 decades by understanding and respecting each other's values, practices, and beliefs. with approximately 19.2% of Malaysians being Buddhists, we join fellow Malaysians of the Buddhist faith in celebrating Vesak Day every year, which has been declared a public holiday in Malaysia since 1962. It is a manifestation of Malaysia's long history of close interaction between peoples of different faiths and cultures. Malaysia takes pride in this diversity, and it brings strength to the nation as a whole in the spirit of one Malaysia. One of the key elements in nurturing national unity has been the moderate approach adopted by the Malaysian government and embraced by its people in addressing with wide-ranging issues, including enhancing interfaith and intercultural relations. Our success as a progressive nation today is due primarily to the willingness of the Malaysian people from all religions and cultures to work towards a common goal of achieving peace, harmony, and prosperity. In this regard, I wish to take this opportunity to call on the international community to embrace the moderation approach in pursuit of global peace and harmony. In this endeavor, we urge all parties to reject and drown the voices of extremism and move forward towards promoting a culture of peace to resolve differences. The Prime Minister of Malaysia, the Honorable Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Razak, during his speech in conjunction with the Vesak celebration in Malaysia, had stressed that the importance of people to not only tolerate one another, but also to set aside their differences and celebrate diversity. Whatever faith one may follow, it is vital to find the goodness of the religion, because positive attitudes and good teachings could form good values for the nation. Mr. Chairman, Malaysia calls for a global movement of moderates. Is aimed towards promoting an everlasting global peace and harmony. We invite everyone present here today to join this movement in their own ways to promote moderation at the international, regional, national, and local levels. I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy Vesak Day and believe that due to the universality nature of the United Nations, the UN is best positioned to be the platform for finding common ground and mutual understanding among the countries for the betterment of our future. Malaysia stands ready to support this endeavor. I thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, the distinguished government representative of Malaysia. And I now have the pleasure to give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Och, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Mongolia, to deliver his statement. Ambassador.
Excellency, Venerable monks, esteemed Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and feel myself honored to join all of you today to celebrate this sacred day marking the Advent, Nirvana and Parinirvana of Buddha. Let me thank Ambassador Narajit Singhaseni of Thailand and his able staff for taking the lead in organizing the International Day of Vesak this year. Buddha said, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. We are happy together at the United Nations today to share our good wishes and common desire to honor the Buddha's life and teachings. Buddhism is the oldest religion in the world, teaching peace, harmony, non-violence, and compassion. It cultivates enlightenment and the freedom of mind. First, Buddhists reached modern days territory of Mongolia in the 3rd century BC, and the Buddhism gradually spread for centuries to become the principal religion of the nation, while preserving well-known tolerance of Mongols towards other faiths and beliefs. And Mongolia once in history played a role as one of the most important Buddhist countries. Today's world is encountering formidable challenges, to many of which Buddhism has answers with its messages of peace, mutual understanding, and goodwill. Vesak is recognized as the most sacred day and is commemorated by hundreds of millions around the world. This day is celebrated in Mongolia as the biggest religious festival across the country. Ichtuchim or Buddha Purnima, on this day in particular, people are meant to avoid sins, perform virtuous deeds, as the effects of their actions will be duplicated 1,000 times. Acknowledging that the philosophy of Buddhism lies, the very idea of his teachings lies at the heart of the Charter of the United Nations. The General Assembly at its 54th session in December 2000 adopted a resolution recognizing the day of Vesak as an important day for the UN, as International Observers Day at the United Nations headquarters and around the world. Observance of this day reminds us, all of us, about our mission to endure everything for the common good, urges us to be tolerant, compassionate, both in mind and our actions. And Lord Buddha offered humanity with this moral guidance. Mr. Chairman, let me express, I'd like to join the other participating countries today in extending our sincere congratulations on the day of Vesak and express wishes for peace, progress, and prosperity. A very happy Vesak day to all. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, the Ambassador and Permanent Representative for Mongolia, for his statement and for his kind words to me and my team. And I now would invite His Excellency Joe Tin, Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, to deliver his statement, which will be followed by a video.
Thank you, Ambassador Rajik. Venerable monks, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on this auspicious occasion of Vesak Day, it is a great honor for me to have this opportunity to convey on behalf of our country, Myanmar, our sincere wishes, pure love, and boundless compassion to all beings in the whole world. I also would like to thank the venerable monks for their gracious presence today and their blessings. I also wish to congratulate Ambassador Nurachit and the Permanent Mission of Thailand for their able leadership in organizing and hosting this year's special event today. In Myanmar calendar, this month is called Kasol, second month of our lunar calendar. Like other Buddhists around the world, the people of Myanmar celebrate on this full moon day of Kasol as one of the most religious and historically significant events, which is also known as Vesak Day or Buddha Day. As many speakers has mentioned, this full moon day is signified by four most important days in Lord Buddha's lifetime. This was the day Lord Buddha had been prophesied to become the next Buddha. This was the day he was born. This was the day he attained enlightenment, and this was the day he entered pre-nirvana or passing. We in Myanmar celebrate this holy day by watering the sacred-bodied trees at pagodas throughout the countries. This is an act to mark their veneration to the Lord Buddha who attained enlightenment under the bodied tree. They also perform various ways of meritorious deeds to honor our Lord Buddha. It has been 15 years since the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 54/1 115 to annually commemorate this event and to acknowledge the contribution made by Buddhism to the spirituality of our humanity. At a time when the world is full of strife and misery, this annual celebration devoted to the Buddha's teachings of love, loving kindness, and living in peace and harmony has become even more relevant and necessary. We believe that this annual event would contribute to the efforts of the United Nations in rekindling spirit of culture of peace and in promoting mutual understanding and respect among people of different cultures, religions, and civilizations. This is a day for all of us to re-establish our dedication in following Buddha's teachings, enabling us to grow spiritually, to exercise loving kindness towards every living being, making no distinction whatever, and help promote goodwill and harmony all over the world. Mr. Chair, may I conclude by reiterating our sincere congratulations to the Day of Vesak celebration and by wishing you all a life blessed with peace, happiness, and prosperity. May I also invite to kindly view the short video presentations which will show how Myanmar celebrate Vesak Day. I thank you all.
Takes place early in the morning or in the evening. In the countryside, festival is held at the village pagoda or monastery, where the Bodhi trees are there. Joyful processions of village damsels skillfully balancing the water pots on their heads and steps to the sacred Bodhi tree to perform the water pouring ritual. Behind them, a group of village youths joyfully follow with the playing of wind and percussion instruments to produce sonorous music. Festival, the customary practice of Myanmar Buddhists is to remove the fish and turtles from nearby dry ponds and lakes to a place of abundant water is regarded as a life-saving act of charity. Full of rituals and offerings as it commemorates and celebrates the four significant events in the life of Buddha.
Khan, permanent representative of Pakistan, to deliver his statement.
Mr. Chairman, Venerable monks, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Mr. Chairman, Ambassador, we thank you and the Mission of Thailand for organizing this event. Pakistan wishes a happy Vesak Day to all nations, all people, all around the world. Today is a day for peace and happiness. Today is a day for practicing morality, simplicity, and humility. This is a day to affirm that people will live in harmony with followers of different faiths and religions. Today is the day to think of the poor, the sick, and the marginalized, and in fact all those amongst us who are suffering. This day gives us an opportune moment to solemnly vow to live in consonance with nature and strive to prevent the degradation of our planet and its finite biodiverse resources. Mr. Chairman, the incense, the lights, the flowers, the food that go with the Vesak Day are so beautiful. This day is also celebrated by the people around the world to recommit themselves, to lead a noble life, to refine their minds, and show love, kindness, and tolerance to others. It's so fitting that the Vesak Day is being celebrated here at the United Nations, which epitomizes the world's collective aspirations for peace, security, and prosperity. Mr. Chairman, our globe is suffering, riven as it is with conflict and strife. It needs its own redemption and an end to suffering. The United Nations promises to fulfill that dream. Today, let's remember all those men, women, and children who are caught in conflicts, or those who are fleeing their homes, or those who are living in temporary shelters away from their homes, or those who do not have food to eat or water to drink. And let's pray for them all. The land of Pakistan, many centuries ago, was a cradle of Buddhist civilization. Buddhism flourished in Taxila, Peshawar, Bardhan, Swat, Lahore, to name a few of Pakistan's cities. Buddhism stands for purity, peace, and amity. Mr. Chairman, those who incite hatred and terror in the name of religion commit grave crimes against humanity. Islam teaches peace, love, and kindness, and enjoins tolerance and harmony and respect for other faiths. We should try to restrain the hand that kills because a person or a community follows a particular religion. We need a global spiritual ethos to lure misguided people off violence and foster the unison of humanity. Mr. Chairman, today we reaffirm our unshakable faith in the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter. We all stand for the fundamental human rights and the dignity and the worth of the human person. This is a good year for these invocations and affirmations as we embark on the tasks to define Sustainable Development Goals and elaborate a post-2015 development agenda. Let's all resolve that by 2030 we would leave nobody behind. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let me now invite His Excellency Ambassador Libras, Tabakunan, Permanent Representative of the Republic of the Philippines, to deliver his statement.
Your Excellency Ambassador Narashid Sinhaseni, Permanent Representative of Thailand to the United Nations. Your mission, your team, your country, thank you very much for hosting this year Vesak Day celebration. Venerable monks, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. About this time, 5 years ago in 2010, when the Philippines was the host for the celebration, and I was the president then of the 2010 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty Review. Many did not know that I stepped out of that NPT meeting to preside the Vesak Day celebration and ask for the blessings from the monks and their prayers for the success of the nuclear disarmament meeting I was presiding. We are drawn together today with a common message of peace and happiness as we commemorate the International Day of Vesak. We We join millions around the world to recall the life and teachings of Lord Buddha. Yes, Buddha. Buddha Sakyamuni, the sage of knowledge. The Buddha's Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path have shown a way to an enlightened existence, one that respects and understands the dignity of the human person and liberates human beings from the shackles of sufferings. The Buddha's profound understanding of the cause of suffering has provided a solid foundation for a life of peace within oneself that necessarily radiates outward to be shared and experienced by all. One got to have an inner peace, or one to be able to influence others for the course of events. The Philippines is very pleased to join again in today's celebration. My country is a nation of diverse cultures, faiths, and traditions. While our country is largely Christian with a significant Muslim population, we are home to many religions and beliefs. We have a thriving Buddhist community, and Buddhism influence remain alive today. Since 2001, the Philippines has officially observed the day of Vesak on the full moon day of May every year. This diversity is a defining feature of the Philippines' national identity and consciousness. Our diversity is rightly considered a source not just of pride but also of strength. And this is why mutual respect, understanding, and tolerance are a way of life for millions of Filipinos, regardless of their faith or religion. This diversity is the reason why the Philippines have been most active in the promotion of interreligious and intercultural dialogue, understanding, and cooperation for peace as an instrument and object of policy at home and beyond. This is the basis for our Interfaith Initiative in 2003 that led to the adoption of General Assembly Resolution 58-128. The 68th session of the General Assembly has seen the initiative on the promotion of interreligious and intercultural dialogue, understanding, and cooperation for peace continue to grow. In fact, member states with predominantly Buddhist population are among those that co-sponsored Resolution 68-126. It is therefore most fitting that on the day of Vesak, we are all gathered together here in the United Nations, an organization with members who remain devoted to dialogue, the pursuit of international peace and security, and the peaceful settlement of disputes between members. As we reaffirm and renew our desire and commitment to pursue peace between peoples and among nations, let us continue to draw on the valuable lessons imparted by the Lord Buddha. Most importantly, let us take those lessons to heart and live them so that we and others around us will enjoy a life in peace and happiness in a world filled with the light of mutual respect of understanding. Thank you.
I thank His Excellency the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Philippines, and thank him in particular for joining us and demonstrating the need for interfaith dialogue. We thank you. Let me now invite His Excellency Ambassador Palita Wana, Permanent Representative of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, to deliver his statement, which will be followed by a video. And for those of you who did not hear me at the outset, I want to congratulate you in particular for having co-chaired and led this celebration for the last 3 consecutive years. You will have our profound thank you.
Honorable Marks, His Excellency Ambassador Naranjit Singh Asani, Excellencies, friends, Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Today we are gathered here pursuant to General Assembly Resolution 54/115 to celebrate 3 very important events for Buddhists around the world. Gautama the Buddha was born, attained enlightenment, and passed away on the full moon day in the month of Vesak, over 2,560 years ago. The coincidence of these events was significant by itself and has given cause for much celebration around the world. But more importantly, it was the message of the path to end suffering, peace, non-violence, ahimsa, tolerance, and coexistence that he preached for 45 years, that inspired millions of men and women for 2.5 millennia. The Buddha's teaching spread from one end of Asia to another without the assistance of invading armies and the brute authority of states, and in the process caused a magnificent surge in cultural expression, as we saw in the videos screened earlier, and as evidenced in the cities of Bamiyan, Gandhara, Taxila, Anuradhapur, Yangon, Ayutthaya, Bangkok, Angkor, Borobudur, Beijing, and Nara. The Buddha's message remains relevant today as we confront a multiplicity of challenges here at the United Nations. His message was carried by missionary monks, traders, travelers, and others. Many countries in Central Asia were once flourishing Buddhist kingdoms, as can be seen even today from the ruins of massive temples and delicately executed sculptures and paintings. During various times in history, strong links existed among the various Buddhist kingdoms of Asia. History records the exchanges of missionaries and pilgrims among Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and China. Early diplomatic practice in the region was dependent on relations among Buddhist monarchs. The Chinese monk Fa Hien spent 6 years at Abhayagiri Monastery in Sri Lanka in the 6th century and left copious records of his experiences. He also visited a number of other Buddhist countries on his way from China and on his way back to China. Our main religious order today owes its origins to Thailand. Sinhala kings maintained at their expense a vast pilgrim's rest in Bodh Gaya in northern India for over 1,000 years. The attraction of Buddhism was its simple reliance on self-accountability without the need for the intervention by a superior being or beings. You, yourself, were responsible and accountable for what you did or did not do. It sought to identify the causes of sadness and propose a solution, the middle path. Buddhism, in a sense, was not a religion, but a way of life, a philosophy. It acknowledged no distinction based on caste, ethnicity, or sex. This was a major attraction of this philosophy to millions of people over the years. Today, Sri Lanka is a majority Buddhist country. Over 70% of the population is Buddhist. The country embraced Buddhism after Emperor Ashoka of India sent his only son, Mahinda, and daughter Sanghamitra as missionaries. Since then, the royal family, the people, their art and culture have all been influenced by the gentle tenets of Buddhism. Sri Lanka has also come under other influences over the centuries, introduced with the assistance of invading armies. But the predominant feature of our history has been the tolerance and accommodation extended by the majority Buddhist population to religions introduced later. Today, churches, Hindu temples, and mosques exist, cheek by jowl with Buddhist temples. While tensions emerge occasionally, as they do in most other countries, we deal with these with an approach that combines accommodation, understanding, and tolerance, and where necessary, by deploying the law. There is zero tolerance of religious hate speech. Our attitudes are conditioned by thousands of years of coexisting with different religious groups. The Hindus have lived amongst us for thousands of years. The Muslims who initially came as traders from the Middle East settled down, intermarried with local women, and became an integral part of our community. The Christians of different denominations who came with the Western colonial powers are today a vital part of our social fabric. We all live among each other and all are an integral part of the Sri Lankan social tapestry, framed by the majority Buddhist community. Temples, churches and mosques, schools and community centers belonging to the different faiths exist side by side in our villages and towns. I'm most encouraged by the presence of all of you at this event, especially by the earlier presence of the President of the General Assembly and the Special Representative on the Alliance of Civilizations. A joyful and reverential commemoration of the life and teachings of an exceptional human being has been enhanced in the process. The Buddha was one who forsook a princely life and went in search of the way to rid life of suffering. Sri Lanka's celebration of this day will be highlighted in a video that will follow shortly. Finally, I take this opportunity to thank Ambassador Norati Singhasani and the staff of the Permanent Mission of Thailand for the wonderful organization of this event, this morning and now. May all beings be well. Thank you.
The birth of Prince Siddhartha, the enlightenment of Bodhisattva, the Parinibbana, or passing away of Lord Gautama Buddha, are the most sacred triple supreme events called Temagula. It occurred on the Vesak full moon Poya day. For Sri Lankans, Vesak is a very significant day. Lord Buddha, with 500 monks, visited Sri Lanka for a third time on a Vesak Poya day. Buddha, on his visit to Kalania, placed imprint of the left foot on the peak of the Samanalakanda, popularly known as Adam's Peak. The annual pilgrimage season to Sripada or Samanalakanda begins on Buddha Poya Day and ends on the Vesak Poya Day. Prince Vijaya arrived in Sri Lanka on a Vesak Poya Day. On the same day, the Lord Buddha's passing away took place. The second coronation of the King Devanampiyatissa of Sri Lanka was held on a Vesak Poya Day, after receiving the 5 symbols of royalty from the King Dharmashoka of India. King Duryodhana started preparing the site to build Ruanvalisaya, a stupa, on the Vesak Poya Day. The colonial rulers of Sri Lanka discontinued the holiday of Vesak Poya and obstructed all Vesak celebrations on this day in Sri Lanka. Again in 1885, Vesak Full Moon Poya Day was declared a public holiday by the British Governor Sir Arthur Hamilton Gordon, and the Sri Lankan Buddhists won the right to celebrate Vesak. The Colombo Committee designed a new Buddhist flag to commemorate the Vesak Temagula. On the 28th of April, 1885, the Buddhist flag was first presented to the public on the 17th of April, 1885, when it appeared in the Sarasavi Sandarasa. On an amendment by Sir Henry Steele Olcott, minor changes were made to the original Buddhist flag. The modified flag was hoisted on the Vesak Poya Day, and it is in use even to date. Sri Lanka takes the honor of having the National Vesak Poya holiday declared as an international day of observance. While setting an example to the world Buddhist community, the Buddhists of Sri Lanka celebrate Vesak with great faith and joy. The whole country is illuminated with Vesak decorations. The Buddhists believe being engaged in the three meritorious acts of offering alms, observing the precepts, and meditation will earn them merit. They do believe that the Vesak Puja Day is the most appropriate day to embrace the path of supreme nirvana, the way to overcome dukkha, or all forms of suffering.
Thank the Ambassador and Permanent Representative of Sri Lanka for his statement and his kind words addressed to my team and myself. I now have the pleasure to invite Mr. Fikri Cassidy, the Charge Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, to deliver his statement.
Venerable monks, excellencies, distinguished guests, Sabe, Sata, Bhavantu, Sukhitata, may all beings be well and happy. I have the pleasure to extend my warmest greetings to Buddhists around the world, including my fellow Indonesian, on this august occasion of Vesak Day. I wish you a peace and joy as you commemorate the birth, enlightenment, and the death of Gautama Buddha. Allow me to take this opportunity to express to His Excellency Norajit Singhaseni, the Permanent Representative of Thailand, and his outstanding staff, our deep appreciation for organizing this event. Our appreciation also goes to Permanent Mission for their participation. Venerable monks, excellencies, distinguished guests, Buddhism came to Indonesia around the 5th century and for a few hundred years was the predominant religion together with Hinduism. Two ancient Buddhist kingdoms governing the current territory of Indonesia, Sriwijaya and Majapahit, were also regional powers during their respective eras. Now, we celebrate Vesak Day as a national holiday when Buddhists flock temples and celebrates with families and friends. The National Vesak Day ceremony is marked with a series of rituals, including meditating at the time of the full moon and releasing 1,000 lampions at the Borobudur temple, as you can see in the series of pictures in front of us. As for this year's celebrations, in addition to Indonesian worshippers, we are also expecting participants from about 12 countries. Venerable monks, excellencies, distinguished guests, for us, Borobudur is not merely a place of worship or a remnant of a glorious era in the past. It is a monument to remind us of our vast diversity. 240 million people from around 300 ethnic groups speaking more than 600 languages and dialects. While there are approximately 1.7 million Indonesians who adhere to Buddhism, all Indonesians take pride in Borobudur, regardless of their background and religious affiliation. For a country as diverse as Indonesia, pluralism, as encapsulated in our national motto, unity,